Welcome back to Grow Joyfully. Well, it's been a few days since I've been on, Saturday in fact, and in those few days things have really changed. Fall is definitely here, and in 2 days we will get our first frost. We've finished picking the grapes, and I finished making the grape juice. I've put several of these pots in the greenhouse. Now we just need to get into the greenhouse and clean and organize things, and we're going to heat it on a very low heat this winter. So we're going to have to pay a little extra on the electricity bill, but I really want to have some things still kept alive. So today and tomorrow is our last pickings of cucumbers, tomatoes. I forgot to get my trug, so it's all clean and ready. But it'll be the last picking of cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers and basically anything other than brassicas. The strawberries will live for a little while. The beans will die. The carrots will be fine. So yeah, this will look very different in 2 days, and I might as well go ahead and finish digging up the sweet potatoes. I was hoping to let them go a little longer, but I'm sure the first frost will just take them out. So we will be filming the next day or two on things we're finding out here, and then we'll have to move inside. Now take a look at the sky. Unfortunately, that is what I'm going to see a lot during the next 6 months. Can you believe that? November, December, January, February, March, April. No wonder it bothers me. So that's why I'm hoping this year to focus and do a little more growing, even if it's radishes, lettuce and spinach in the greenhouse. The cucumbers are still producing, and if it didn't freeze, I think they just go on producing. I would trim them back, maybe plant some more and fertilize them, but it wouldn't do any good because they're going to die in 2 days. It's too hard to say goodbye to your garden, isn't it? People in the south that I envy have about 2 or 3 months of winter, and then they're back at it. But we can't plant out here confidently until the end of May. So from mid-October until the end of May, we have no ability to garden, and I miss it a lot when it's gone. Some of the carrots that I don't get out when the year is over, I'll come back and dig them up the next spring or even later, and there's some big beautiful carrots in there, so that's kind of fun. I'm going to have to take off all my beautiful black crims, whether they're ready or not. So here we go, time to take them off. How many of you are still gardening? We're zone 6A, and we're in central Idaho. I'm just going to randomly be picking some beans. I just watched Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm, and she was reminding me that when your beans are finished growing, don't pull up the whole thing, cut them off at the root, because the roots are the ones that are the nitrogen fixers. It's not as they're growing necessarily. It's leaving the roots behind and letting the nitrogen go down into the soil. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll cut these guys off. I'll see if the first frost ruins the lettuce or not. So it's lightly misting right now, but I'm going to be out here anyway. I had to clean the house this morning, the kitchen anyway, because I was blessed enough to be able to go watch some cute grandkids while one of our sons and his wife brought their new little baby into the world. So I was blessed enough to go with my daughter and be able to enjoy their little cute company. So we're grateful to have a new precious baby. Grandchildren are really helping me and keeping me going. The strawberry has been eaten by a slug. How dare it? Here's a little tiny baby one. You can't imagine how sweet these are. And the flavor is just incredible. Here's another green one in there. Here's one that was eaten. Well, slugs are so rude. That's one thing I won't miss in the winter is yellow jackets, wasps, and slugs. We've never really had a huge slug problem, but this year it was worse than ever, and the slugs were bigger than ever. Can you hear the wind blowing in the trees? The leaves are coming off. It's definitely settling in. That's when I get busy in the house. And I bake and I work on Christmas stuff until after Christmas. And then in January we clean the greenhouse out. And I will start pepper seeds then, because peppers seem to take a very long time. So we get pepper seeds and start those, and then in February, which is still too early, but I do it anyway because it's cheaper than therapy, right? Then I grow tomato plants. Okay, guys. A few beans. I was not keeping beans this big before, but I put them in the, now I put them in the greenhouse and just dry them for next year. So that's what I'm doing between today and tomorrow. Getting anything of any size at all, like this, picked. Oh wow, look at that one we missed. That only happens after a couple of days, since Saturday, even though it's cold. There we go. That's a big guy. There we are. Here's another little one. They're doing construction on the main road by our house, which never used to be that busy. We moved out here 23 years ago, and it was the country. And now, with all the people moving here, it's no longer the country, and they're adding new water mains, and yeah, they're making it bigger. But right now we can't even go out and use the main road here, and they have it blocked off for at least 2 weeks. So that's really affecting our farm stand, because nobody can get to us. So it just kind of bothers me how we don't have any say in growth or anything that goes on. But there are a lot of chocolate sprinkles. Yay. Look at that. I better go and get the box that I brought. The feverfew is trying so hard to bloom, and so is the chamomile. So we're not going to have much from it, but I harvested earlier this spring. Starting to rain harder, so I'm going to put a coat on. The weather has really turned, hasn't it? I guess it stands to reason. Can you hear the noise over there? All that construction they're doing. Seriously, if I could move, I would. Anyway, so now I have a coat on and a hoodie, and a hat to protect me from the rain. And look at these guys, they finally came on before the frost. I'm going to take some of the green ones in and see if they will survive. I've got one little plant in a pot in the greenhouse, and I'm hoping against hope we can keep it going for several months. When you look at each other and you think, I'm not going to have any fresh tomatoes until next, I don't know, July or August. It's a long time. And it's really hard to buy them from the store. Not only are they expensive, but they're waxy, they have no taste. And like Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm says, they taste like disappointment. Couldn't agree more. So we're getting quite a few. I'm going to try to cover up some tomato plants. The ones that were just on stakes. I'm going to cover them up, see if we can keep them going. Hello. How are you? This is Cuddles. Yes, we were gone for 2 days and she's traumatized. My husband was here, but she's still traumatized. Oh my goodness. Okay, keep picking. It's raining. Get to see some grandkids later on this afternoon, which I'm looking forward to. And I had a chuck roast. You know how meat's getting more expensive to afford. And I had a chuck roast and I browned it in my cast iron, and it is now setting on the top of the stove in my cast iron, just gently cooking away. It's going to be so nice and tender. Then I'll make mashed potatoes and gravy to go with it. I might make some biscuits tonight. I haven't made biscuits for a while. I feel more like making biscuits when it's cold outside. But I've got the best and easiest recipe that I've made a video about. If you look back through my videos, it's made with cream, and that's your fat, so you don't have to cut butter or Crisco or lard in. And it's easy and it's tasty and fluffy and really wonderful. This is the biggest chocolate sprinkles harvest we've had yet. So exciting. There's a cucumber that was hiding on the end. I can't believe how this place has changed in 2 days. Cold, wet, and rainy, and it was just dry and beautiful and green just a few days ago. Here's a nice mess of beans for dinner. I'm going to pull out these onions too, I think. I hope you have a lovely day, even though it's not very lovely here. And we get inside and, you know, put some orange peels and cinnamon and cloves on the back of the stove and some water, and put on some Halloween shows and put on cozy music and start working on Christmas projects and what have you. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of things to do and keep my time occupied with. I just know that I always have my grandkids to go over and be with, and of course my children too, if I don't include them in that grandkids thing. They are my company too. So I'm so grateful for them. Very grateful for this day, for this growing season, for the rain that we haven't had for months, except for the 2 days that put out the fires. Thanks for coming along with me in this very melancholy garden tour. We won't even make it till Saturday for the garden tour Saturday. So consider this garden tour Saturday, even though it's only Wednesday. We still have to get out there and pick about 1 billion green tomatoes and try to bring them in and see if we can get them to ripen up, son. You have a lovely day, and don't forget to do it joyfully. We might see you tomorrow, just while we get some tomatoes picked over there. And then we'll start doing stuff in the house. Take care. Thanks for stopping by.